Welcome to Clash Corner, your daily dose of chaos.
I got paid for 3 months to do absolutely nothing. I got fired last week for not meeting performance expectations. The thing is, I hadn't logged into a single company system in 3 months. I applied for a remote position last year. The onboarding was chaotic. Everything was through email, and they somehow forgot to assign me to a team. I waited, asked around, no response. So I figured I'd just chill until someone noticed. 3 months passed. I was getting paid every 2 weeks. No tasks, no meetings, no contact. I started treating it like free income. I traveled, gamed, lived my best life. Then last week, HR finally emailed saying my performance had not met expectations. I laughed out loud. Performance? I literally hadn't logged into a company system once. They fired me and sent a severance check. I didn't even bother replying. They paid me nearly $20,000 to do nothing. I feel a bit guilty, but also like I beat the system for once. Would you have said something, or just kept quiet?
Ready for more? Here comes Clash number 2.
My girlfriend tested my loyalty and now I want out. I've been dating my girlfriend for 6 months, and everything was great until her birthday 2 months ago. That's when I met her friend, and my life became hell. I've been dating my girlfriend for 6 months now. Everything was going great until her birthday 2 months ago. Up until then, I'd met a couple of her friends, but just 1 or 2 at a time. This was the first time meeting a lot of her friends, and the first time I'd be hanging out with them all in a big group. We had what I thought was a great night, until later that night when I took her home. She asked me what I thought of her friend Sadie. I'd exchanged maybe 2 sentences with Sadie, so I just said that she seemed cool. Then she asked me if I thought Sadie was pretty, to which I responded she was, but not nearly as pretty as her. I thought that was a safe answer because I didn't want to say her friend wasn't pretty, but I also wanted her to know that I only had eyes for her. But she was like, "So you do think she's pretty?" I knew it. Pretty and cool. I didn't think much of this because she was quite intoxicated, so I just brought her some sports drink and helped her get into bed. I figured she wouldn't remember this interaction the next morning, but she called me and apologized. She explained that Sadie was conventionally attractive and had a history of taking men that she wanted, and she didn't want that to happen to me. I assured her that wouldn't happen. I told her the honest truth, which was that with all the new faces I was seeing, I hardly remembered what Sadie looked like. I told her too that if Sadie kept going after men she knew she wanted, she should consider distancing herself from Sadie. Again, I thought that would be the end, but for the past 2 months, Sadie has somehow come up in every conversation. Did I follow Sadie's social media? Had I talked to Sadie since the party? Even when I give her a compliment, she brings up Sadie. Just last week she got a new pair of jeans and I told her how great her butt looked in them, and she went on this tirade about how she had to spend so much money just to get a pair of jeans that looked decent on her while Sadie looked like a supermodel in discount store jeans. I'm not that dumb. I know that she has complex underlying issues and that the Sadie fixation is just a manifestation of those issues. I don't want to invalidate her, but I get the sense that Sadie is not a problem so much as her own insecurities. I'm like a broken record with how often I remind her that she's hot and smart, that she has a great life, a great job, and a great guy, if I do say so myself, and there's no reason for her to compare herself to Sadie or anyone else. That discount jeans are trash, but I'm sure she would look good in them if she really wanted some. I've suggested therapy, which she says is a waste. It just seems like nothing I do helps. And I know it's her issue and not mine, but it's starting to drain me too. The breaking point came a couple nights ago when I got a social media DM request from Sadie saying she thought I was cute and asking if I wanted to hang out sometime. This was followed by a series of DMs basically saying she knew I was with my girlfriend but she thought I could do better, and if I gave her a chance she could show me what I was missing. Without responding, I took a screenshot and immediately blocked her. Then yesterday I showed my girlfriend the screenshot. I fully expected her to freak out, but instead she kissed me and told me she knew she could trust me. I was confused and she explained that she had Sadie DM me to prove my loyalty to her. Apparently it is a common thing for women to do, especially if they have a conventionally attractive friend who could probably steal anyone's man. I was completely dumbfounded. I thought people only did this stuff in movies, not in real life. I asked her if all the anxiety over Sadie was real, or if she had faked that too. She said it was real, but now that she knows I'm loyal to her she's not worried anymore. She tried to kiss me again, but I pulled away. This might have solved all of her problems, but it created a whole new set of problems for me. I gave her no reason to doubt my loyalty. I never even looked twice at Sadie. I did everything I could to show her how much I cared about her, but it took this fake DM for her to trust me. What if she made another hot friend? Or what if she thought one of my coworkers was conventionally attractive? Would we have to do this all over again? I told her I needed some space. She doesn't understand why I've been distant since yesterday. She seems to think everything is resolved since I proved my loyalty, but ironically I think this may be the breaking point for me in the relationship. I really like her, but I can't be with someone who has zero faith in me. If I'm going to stay in a relationship with her, I need to communicate to her how deeply this affected me, and make sure that she knows not to do this again. How can I do this without invalidating her feelings and making her turn against me? Would you stay, or is this the kind of thing you just can't come back from?
The chaos doesn't stop. Clash number 3.
I finally set boundaries with my coworker, and now I think I made everything worse. This particular screw-up happened last night, and I'm currently at my desk feeling like I'm just waiting for a bomb to go off. Look, I'm just a regular guy. 32 years old, married to a woman who's way out of my league, and our life is simple and good. I like it that way. I come to work, I do my job, I go home. The last thing I want or need is drama. About a month ago, we hired a new girl, Casey. She's 18, right out of school, and full of that bubbly energy I vaguely remember having. For some reason, she's decided I'm her target. At first I figured she was just friendly, but it's gotten to a point where I can't ignore it. It's been things like 1. Finding little hearts drawn on my notepads if I leave them in the kitchen. 2. The constant staring. I'll be working and get that feeling someone's watching me, and sure enough, it's her. She just blushes when I look up. 3. Some loudmouth in sales jokingly called her my work wife, and she just ran with it. Started signing notes to me with those initials. Just mortifying. 4. The real kicker was when I was talking with a buddy here about wanting kids with my wife, and Casey, who was pretending not to listen, chirps in with, "I've always thought I'd make a great stepmom." What do you even say to that? My strategy, which in hindsight was pretty dumb, was to just be aggressively married. I'd bring my wife up constantly, hoping she'd get the message. My wife and I saw that movie. My wife packs my lunch. That kind of thing. I thought I was setting a clear boundary. I was not. So, this brings us to the screw-up last night. It's late, and it's just the two of us left in the office finishing a project. The place is dead quiet. She brings me a coffee I didn't ask for and does that thing where her fingers linger on mine for way too long when she hands it to me. I pulled my hand away, and she gets this really serious look and asks, "Are you really happy?" And that was it. My patience, which I usually have a lot of, just hit zero. All the weeks of awkwardness and cringing just boiled over. I dropped the polite nice guy act and I was just blunt. I looked her right in the eye and said, "My wife is my world." That's not an appropriate question for work, and it's not up for discussion. I expected her to get embarrassed, maybe stammer an apology. But that's not what happened. It was like I flipped a switch. The smile, the bubbly personality, all of it just vanished. Her face went completely blank. She just stared at me for a second, then said, "Okay," in this flat, dead voice. The rest of the night was dead silent. It was the most uncomfortable hour of my entire career. Today, it's like I'm sitting next to a stranger. A really angry stranger. She won't look at me, but the vibe is so hostile it's making my skin crawl. I'm no longer dealing with a kid with a crush. I'm dealing with a really upset woman I have to work with every single day. My big screw-up was thinking that being direct would solve the problem. But I think I just made it 1,000 times worse. Now I'm just sitting here, replaying it in my head, convinced she's going to march down to HR and claim I was the one hitting on her. Did I handle this the right way, or should I have done something different?
Another clash is on the way. Here's number 4.
I fixed my daughter's car and her boyfriend says I overstepped. My daughter's boyfriend told me I shouldn't have fixed her car because it made him look bad. My daughter and I have always been pretty close. She moved in with her boyfriend a couple months ago. It was a little tough seeing her move out, but I know she's an adult and building her own life. She drives an old sedan with a lot of miles on it. A couple weeks ago she mentioned the steering wheel had started shaking when she got up to highway speeds, and sometimes the front end would shudder when she braked. She told me her boyfriend said he would take care of it. Another week went by and it still hadn't been looked at. Last weekend she came by my place and said it was getting worse and it was starting to make her nervous to drive. So I took it for a quick drive, and sure enough, the wheel was shaking pretty good around 60 miles per hour and it shuddered when I hit the brakes. I pulled the front wheels off in the driveway and it was pretty obvious the front brake rotors were warped and the brake pads were worn unevenly. I ran to the parts store, grabbed new rotors and pads, and swapped them out that afternoon. Took a couple hours, and after that the car drove smooth again. My daughter was really happy and thanked me a bunch. To me it wasn't a big deal. I've worked on cars most of my life and she's my kid. A few days later she and her boyfriend came over for dinner. At one point he pulled me aside and told me I shouldn't have fixed the car. He said it was his responsibility as her boyfriend to handle that kind of thing, and that by doing it myself I stepped on his toes. I told him I wasn't trying to prove anything. The car was getting worse and I just fixed it while she was there. Since then he's been pretty short with me and the vibe has been a little weird. My daughter says he feels like I undermined him. From my point of view, she's still my daughter, and if something on her car is unsafe and I can fix it in an afternoon, I'm going to. Did I overstep, or was I just being a dad?
Chaos overload. Let's wrap up this final clash.
I'm losing attraction to my husband. I'm having a hard time being attracted to my husband. When I met my husband, he was masculine, assigned male at birth, and dressed that way. He dressed this way our entire dating relationship. Gradually he grew his hair out. It didn't concern me. We got married a year and a half into our relationship. Since then, he's been a different person. He started wearing feminine clothes. He says they're neutral. They're not. They're very feminine. Think blouses and colorful slacks. He wears makeup and dangling earrings daily. None of this is wrong. He says this is what makes him feel like his authentic self. Great. I support that for anyone. Be who you are. But I'm not attracted to the feminine. I don't wear makeup or dress up. I'm a jeans and t-shirt girl. I'm more masculine than him. And this drives me insane. I love him. We get along. We laugh all the time. But I'm just not into what he considers neutral, what I consider feminine. I find myself getting slightly embarrassed in public sometimes when he stops somewhere to look at women's clothing. And that's what he wears. He doesn't wear any men's clothing anymore. He swears he doesn't want to be a woman. But that doesn't change the fact that I'm not physically attracted to this feminine side of him. For the first time since getting married 5 years ago, I've started to think about divorce. I don't know if it's serious. But the more feminine he gets, the less I find him attractive physically. This is not who I married. I've talked to my therapist about it, and her solution was to talk to him about it. I did. It's like I hurt him deeply. I get no one wants to be told how they dress is upsetting to their spouse. I just feel sad that my attraction is becoming less and less while he becomes his true self. I don't think there's any malice in him dressing in women's clothes. He came upon it gradually. A shirt here, a skirt there, eyeliner, just a little bit at first. But just like any hobby or interest, he collected more things. I don't think it was intentional deception, not on purpose. He just was comfortable enough to explore who he wants to be. What he wants to be just happens to be someone I'm not physically attracted to. What would you do in my situation?
That was today's chaos. See you at the next clash. Don't just watch the clash, join the corner. Subscribe now.